Hey everyone, it's Victoria McCooey from Victoria McCooey Coaching and victoriamccooey.com. How are you today? It's Monday, it's Manic Monday, and finally it is a gorgeous day here on Long Island in New York. It rained like torrential downpour all weekend, so the sun outside is making me very, very happy. It's like, is spring really coming? I think it actually is. So I woke up this morning with so much gratitude for my amazing community of people. Thank you. I want to thank you for showing up, for being here, for encouraging me, for being part of all of this. It's been a few years, a lot of years since I've been doing this, and it really fills my heart in a way I can't even express, to know that I have found this way that I can really serve. I can really help other people who are facing the same challenges that I did. And when I was going through it, I didn't think anyone would understand. I didn't think there was anyone in the world who'd been through what I was going through. And it was too embarrassing, too humiliating to even talk about being in this marriage to a very difficult person, somebody with narcissistic tendencies, let's say, a very controlling husband who purported to love me, to the outside world seemed like he loved me. And I'm sure that's what you are going through too, right? So nobody would really believe you, nor would you want them to know the treatment you're having to endure, the verbal abuse, the name calling, the control tactics. If you were like I was back then, I had no control over my own money, over the money I earned. I was not allowed to have any money in my control. He literally would take paychecks that came to me out of the mail and forge my signature and deposit them into his account. I had no I would try to steal my own money, and if I managed to be successful at that, there was hell to pay. Who can you tell that to? Who in the world would you think would even believe you when your marriage seems so perfect to people on the outside? And it's all a charade. It's just like this house of cards that one day is just going to come tumbling down. So anyway, that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. And I am so filled up to the brim with love and gratitude for all of you who show up here so you can be part of this community. We don't hi. Now, also, thank you for joining me. I will never say your name. I see your name and I welcome you here, but I will never, ever say your name, so that this is a completely safe place. You don't have to be worried about being seen here. All right, if you do want to email me though, for a direct response, I'll put it in the post later, but my email address is victoria@victoriamccooey.com. So this commenter says, we don't fight against flesh and blood. We don't, but they do, right? The narcissist, sociopath, personality disordered. Okay, Deborah, hi. Thank you for letting me say your name, but I'll always ask permission first, I should say. All right, so we're here as a community to help expose this. My goal is to help expose this and educate more people who are in the court systems, because there are too many judges and lawyers and people who do not understand how traumatized the victims are, we are, how we don't present in court like we should, because we've been beaten down, because we're not ourselves. We're a shell of a person. This person has been controlling. You were married to someone like that for 30 years ago. Well, I'm glad you've had 30 years free of that. I was married to someone like that, how many years ago? I guess like 20, almost 20 years ago, for 10 years. but no one knew. No one knew but me. No, you do not have to be a victim. Thank you for commenting. It's hard though. It's easy for us to say that. You remember, Deborah, it's easy for someone to tell you that, but it's hard for you to actually embrace that, to embody that when you are being abused. You don't see a way out. You've been trained not to see a way out. You've been trained to believe that you have no say, that you have no way out. So here we are as a community trying to lift each other up, trying to educate more people, trying to open the eyes of the courts to expose how they can prey on people like us who are usually empaths, usually caring, loving, good people with a lot of integrity. Sometimes people with small children, sometimes, I mean, I had 3 small children when mine ended. Bye. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to leave, but it's very necessary. You cannot stay, you can't sustain that level of stress in your life for that long. It will weaken all of your defenses. You will become sick. You will get disease. You will not be able to function. You will not be able to make smart choices. And that's part of the plan, is to wear you down that way. So this is what we're here to do, to show you that you have to get some relief. You have to get some help. You have to find ways not to let that stress, well, to remove that stress, to remove the stressor, but in the meantime, to find coping mechanisms so that your body can repair itself from what the damage that's been done to it, so you don't get sick, so you don't get a disease, so you can function, so you can get out. Because the weaker you get, the harder it's going to be to leave. All right, so this forum is mostly, my Mondays on Facebook are for co-parenting questions. So I invite everyone who watches to either put in the comments their own co-parenting struggles or email me at victoria@victoriamcooey.com. And this week, someone sent this comment. It says, my 10-year-old came home asking why my ex is nice to his roommate's girlfriend and not to me. Why does he cook dinner for the whole house and didn't do it for us when we were together? It got to the point that she felt uncomfortable going over. I didn't know what to say. How do you respond to that? Right, so you don't want to disparage your child's other parent. You want to always take the high road. But when it comes to something like that, where they see, that doesn't make sense. Why is dad so nice and helpful and courteous to all these people who aren't related to him, who are, friends, maybe even just acquaintances, but never did anything like that for us? How do you explain that to the child? So if you've been watching me for a while, you know what my go-to is on these things. You ask the child, how does that make you feel? Because it serves so many levels of purpose here. You're telling your child that their feelings matter to you. They have feelings, they have a right to their feelings, and that you care about their feelings and you want to know what their feelings are. It also lets the child tell you that that's wrong. You don't have to be the one to say it. They're going to say, that doesn't feel good. Well, why is he so nice to them and he wasn't nice to us? So it opens up your conversation for how to help them model after a better sense of integrity, right? Better morals, better values. And you don't have to disparage the dad. They'll say, well, it makes me feel awful. It makes me feel sick. It makes me feel sad. It makes me feel upset. It makes me feel jealous, whatever they say. And say, oh, I can understand how that would make you feel that way. I'm really sorry, but what will you do? What will you do if you're in a position like that where you have friends or family, are you going to put them first? Are you going to do something different or better than the way you see your dad doing it? You know, let them see that they can do something other than that. They can model however they like. They can see it as the contrast to what they want to be. You don't have to say, yeah, dad's a jerk. I can't believe it either. You know, don't jump on the bandwagon and bash dad. Because then also, even though they can say it, they don't want to hear it from you. You know, it's like, then you're really no better. They're gonna lump you together like dad. Like, well, you know, dad is making me feel bad. Mom's making me feel bad. Nobody gets it. Nobody cares about me. You be the one to care about her. All right, so does that help? Always put your children's feelings first. Let them tell you how it makes them feel and validate their feelings, and let them express it to you. They'll get the picture. Just guide them in the right direction. That's your job. It's called high road parenting. It's hard because I know you want to say, yeah, I can't believe it either. I can't believe that he's doing that to you, or I can't believe he's doing that to me. I can't believe that he's making these people think that he's such a great guy when he's really not. You can't. You can think it, but you can't say it's your kid, because then you're just like him. You've got to be different. All right, so that is it for today. If you're in a position where you're trying to figure out what to do in a toxic marriage, like we were talking about, where there's verbal abuse or physical abuse or psychological abuse or emotional abuse or financial abuse, and you just don't know how in the world you are ever going to be able to change this situation or to get out of this situation, please give me a call. I can help. This is what I do. I've helped hundreds of women get out of these predicaments. I have a system where I help you regain your power. I call it the Reclaim Your Power system. So I coach you through this process where you're going to have all of that courage and the capacity that you once had before. You are going to be able to stand up to your bully. I'm going to open your eyes to options. I'm going to support you in your decision making. I'm going to help you draw boundaries and stick to them. And I'm going to help you find strategies for stopping the abuse and taking action if that's what you decide you need to do. I will hold your hand through the entire process. You do not have to be alone. You do not have to go through this alone. It's hard. No one else gets it. You'll get people saying, well, why don't you just? There's no just. These people are outrageous. I was up late last night watching a movie, The Girl on the Train, for the umpteenth time because I'm obsessed with that movie. And I could order it or watch it on demand anytime I want, but it's on at 1 o'clock in the morning. So what do? I have to watch it because I'm fascinated, because this guy's a narcissist, and he has the main character believing that she's crazy, that she's done these things that she hasn't done, pushing her to drink, like making her become a drunk because she can't handle what's going on anymore, and then telling her that she's doing things that she's not doing when she's drunk. I mean, a psychological abuser. Like it's a crazy movie. You have to watch it. So I can't get enough, because this character and in his head, like what goes on in his head, and in the end, trying to make her believe she killed someone that she didn't kill, and and her going, this is what you do, this is what you do. And I can relate to that woman so well. Can you? And she sees it. She's like, you're doing it, and I have to figure out how to make it stop. I have to figure out how not to hear this from you. That's what I do. I help you figure out how not to hear it, how not to let it happen. All right, that's enough for today. So if you know someone, also, could you share this with them? Could you send it to them, or tell them to follow me? My mission is to reach as many women as I possibly can who are in these situations. And I have to give back. I have to help as many people as I can, because what happened for me? I got out. It was long and it was hard, but it was so worth it, because I got out of a very abusive marriage. I healed. I found myself again. And I then was able to attract the right kind of person. I remarried. I have a beautiful blended family. I could not be happier. My life is a million times better than I ever dreamed it could be. I mean, when I think back, when I was in the throes of it, in this abusive situation, financial disaster, yelling, screaming, fighting. Someone walked in my house and said, you could cut the tension with a knife. My children were being raised in that environment where the air was thick with tension, with stress, with drama. Oh my God, the constant chaos, constant drama to keep me off balance. Now I know why. It was to keep me off balance. And then the things that he would say to wear me down. When I was in that, did I ever think my life could look like this? Never. I was just trying to stay alive. I was just trying to find a way to put one foot in front of the other, find a way to raise my kids in this horrible situation. And now they have an amazing life, so much happiness. They're grown and successful and well-adjusted, and all because I got them out of that bad situation. So, people who stay in their marriage because for the sake of the kids, to keep the family together, have no idea how much more damage that's doing to their children if it's a situation like the one I was in. My children thrived when I got them into a healthy, happy, normal situation where there was no fighting, there was no stress, there was no tension. I mean, there was conflict during the co-parenting drop-off that sort of thing, but I found a way to minimize it. But at least I could show them what a normal household, a normal family home felt like. And then they would go visit their dad and see the contrast. And eventually they see that's horrifying. It's so stressful. It's so negative. And you have to be able to show them the difference, or how are they ever going to know? How are they ever going to know that that's wrong and unhealthy? They will model after that. It's all they will know. And they'll end up having the same sort of marriage, the same sort of abusive situation. The cycle will continue and continue. You've got to break it. It's your job. It's just your job. You've got to break it. All right. So I always offer a free session so you can get to know me. Yes, exactly. I said earlier, thank you for commenting. I'll never say your name because it's up to you, if you want to be public. But this person says no one around you believes just the level of crazy and destruction you are in. Yes. Oh, you're just being dramatic. You're exaggerating. We know him. It's not that bad. He's so nice. He's so charming. He's so handsome, right? Nobody can believe you. Nobody. And in my case, it took years and years and years for the other people who knew us to finally see. But eventually they show their stripes, right? Eventually. Or they move on to a new community where they can create it all over again because they've been found out. The mask fell off there, so they move on, go somewhere else and terrorize another group of people. Yeah, thank you for being here, all of you. All right, I'm going to put a link in this post so that you can book a free session right on my calendar so we can get to know each other. I can see if I'm in a position to help you. And if I am, we'll talk about ways we can work together. I have different levels of support for different budgets. There's something for everyone. So please book a free call if you are in this situation, or if you're already in a divorce and in a contentious divorce with somebody like this. I can help you through it. I can help you stay in the driver's seat with your attorney. I can minimize your legal fees, because you need to tell this. You need to get this information there every time you pick up the phone, every time you, thanks for the like, every time you write a letter, email, text your lawyer, cha-ching, 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 it's costing, right? So that's how I help my clients pay for my fees, I reduce their legal fees to the extent that the coaching ends up being free because it's a wash. And you get so much more value from the coaching. So you're coming to me. I'm organizing your thoughts. I'm waiting until it's a meaningful amount of information that has to go to the lawyer. I'm editing it. I was a writer for 35 years. I am editing it so that it is so succinct and so easy to digest and so easy to respond to. And it's exactly the way the lawyer needs to receive the information so that they can digest it and respond in a more efficient manner. So that is saving like thousands of dollars a month in your legal fees, believe it or not. I hate to tell you, it's costs that much. All right, so have them book a free call with me. If it's you, book a free call on the calendar, or email me at victoria@victoriamcouey.com. Would love to help you. All right, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.